love it. The horn is in. Did that wake you up? You were awake already?
I was just updating my resume. I hear the Sun Sentinel may have an opening, so see what's going on there.
All right. That's
how
it goes here. You know, opportunities open up. When one door closes, another one opens, right? Isn't that the saying? Isn't that how it goes?
Yeah.
All right. The great George Richards joining us. By the way, you can follow him on Twitter at George Richards. And as you can see it there, FloridaHockeyNow.com. Subscribe. All right. What am I paying? $2 a month, $3 a month, or some ridiculous price?
Peanuts.
Like, seriously, dude. Come on.
For full coverage of the Panthers, and we're not talking about one story.
We're talking
about 4 or 5 stories a day, man.
Yes. So get your asses out there and subscribe already to Florida Hockey Now so you can actually subscribe to the best team in town. By the way, I don't think we talk enough about Vinny Viola and Doug Sifu's maniacal dedication to trying to win.
Yeah,
it still goes under the radar. Their arena isn't full for every game. We're not on the bandwagon as a town like we should be. We don't have like 8,000 people outside the arena of a packed arena watching the game outside, which is what I believe we need to turn that thing into outside, that deck or whatever the hell they call it, outside the stadium.
That's not gonna happen.
They don't have any of that. And yet,
they're not a downtown arena either. You have to,
I know, but
that's
they're
part of the problem with that.
They're paying for their players. They're buying more players in free agency. They're spending a world of money to invest in the community and their practice rink over at War Memorial. You know, all of this stuff going on. They've really entrenched themselves in the community. I don't think we give them enough credit. You know, we give a lot of love to Mickey Arison, right, for what he's done and how he's dedicated. And even Stephen Ross is really a great owner in the way he spends.
Right.
These guys are spending and winning now. It's impressive, dude. It really is.
Yeah, well, when you look at Mickey Arison, he's spending money that the Heat are making, right? When you look at Stephen Ross, he's spending money that the Dolphins are making. Vinny Viola is spending money that the Panthers are not making. Like you said, they're averaging like 14,500, 15,000, all the money they lost during the pandemic. The one comment, and this was off the record, but I don't think he'll mind me saying this. When I was talking to Vinny Viola a couple years ago, and Joel Quenneville was on the market. He had just gotten fired by Chicago, and he was talking to me about hiring Joel Quenneville. And we were just walking down the hall of the arena. I go, Vinny, you know how much that's going to cost? I mean, that's like he's making $5.5, $6 million in Chicago. George, I started my company with $500. Do you really think I care? He's worth a couple $2 billion now, and that's how he thinks. I mean, he doesn't care. I mean, he wants to win. He's dedicated to the horse racing thing. He's won the Kentucky Derby a couple years ago. He's won the Pegasus. The Breeders' Cup. All those things. He wants to win in hockey. He wants this Florida Panther team to be a Stanley Cup champion, and whatever the Panthers want, they're going to get. I mean, yesterday they made a trade where they were the third team, so they were taking some salary on for a player that Carolina's going to. They're paying like $300,000 for Carolina to have a player because they got back a draft pick, they got back a prospect. That's spending money really for nothing, right? Because he's paying for Carolina, but you're paying part of that contract in real money. Right. You're spending. Right.
You are making an investment. You are getting an investment that you're making for the future too.
Sure.
And by the way, it helps that the dude that's doing all these decisions, like keeps hitting like home runs, like opposite field. You want a center field home run? Good. You want left field? Here you go. I'll put it in McCovey Cove if you want to. I mean, that's Bill Zito now. Bill Zito calls his shot every time. He's like Babe Ruth of GMs now. I mean, the guy's awesome.
But Bill Zito's got to go to the owner and say, "Here's what we're thinking. We're getting this prospect. We're getting a draft pick. We have to write a check to this guy playing for another team." Vinny has to approve that. And he's already paying for players not to play here. You know, they're already paying.
But you got to trust that guy that comes to you. That's the thing. It's kind of
for sure.
You know, if Viola had
to your point, this is a team that's spending money to better the organization, and it's and it's money that they're not making.
It's just so awesome.
Maybe they will.
Really.
Now you make a lot of money in the playoffs. This team makes a deep playoff run. They're getting 20,000 into the Sunrise Arena. They're going to be making some money, but they haven't seen it yet. So
yeah, I think that and I'm telling you, I think hopefully we get to that point where it gets crazy and they're even outside of the arena watching the game. You know what I mean? I'm hoping
that's harder to do in a stadium like that they're in, because you don't.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's
you can do that downtown Pittsburgh because people all live there and they're just walking up.
Yeah. Although that arena,
if they get anything north of 19,000 in that building, they're happy. They don't care
that would be awesome.
Outside or not.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
They might have one of those outdoor viewing things in Fort Lauderdale on the beach or something. That could be good.
That could, yeah. The good thing about that arena is that if you want to do that, there's tons of parking because you can park over at the mall if you have to. And then, man, the ingress egress in that arena, dude, there's nothing like that in South Florida. None of the stadiums, none of the arenas ever have that. You're in and out of that place so quickly. It is freaking awesome, dude. Okay, so it is convenient. You go to downtown, in any downtown, it's a pain in the ass to get in and out of downtowns. You know what I mean? So that's the one thing that I would say. Oh, I live in Hollywood. Yeah, we'll pop over to Sunrise. We're in and out. We'll have some fun. I think it's kind of that atmosphere. But again, I just got to give love to Sifu. Now let's get to Zito. I mean, this guy, dude. It's just, and what I love is the karma, because we sat here going, damn, Tampa's good, and now they have this advantage with the injury, and they're able to put the salary aside and all this and that, and we're bitching and complaining, and now, hey, man, it's our turn. So explain.
It's not 17 million like Tampa was.
No, it's 7.5. But still, it's we still have an advantage. Okay,
listen, the Panthers were going to lose players yesterday. If Aaron Ekblad doesn't get hurt, and for the viewer, for everyone out there that doesn't know, Aaron Ekblad goes on long-term injury because he got hurt on Friday night. He makes $7.5 million. That's $7.5 million by putting him on long-term. That money's off the salary cap. Florida all of a sudden goes from being over the cap to being under by $4 or $5 million. They were able to add a player. They were able to take on that contract from Max Domi from Columbus, now in Carolina. They could have made a couple more additions, but they didn't have the roster room, and they didn't want to take any player away. Bill Zito did not want to give up Frank Vetrano to the New York Rangers for a 4th-round pick. Very undervalued, but you had to do Vetrano right. Everybody in America in the NHL knew that the Panthers had to unload Vetrano's contract to make some things work. That was it. Now, if Aaron Ekblad got hurt on Tuesday and went on last Tuesday and went on long-term on Wednesday, Panthers probably keep Frank Vetrano because now you're under the cap. You don't need to trade him. But Frank Vetrano got traded before all that. The Panthers did not know that was coming. Aaron Ekblad is legitimately injured. I think, you guys went off on the Tampa Bay thing. Tampa Bay was not cheating. They were.
I never said they were cheating. I never said they were cheating.
Were saying that.
No. And I never said the Yankees cheated over the years buying all the players. That was under the rules.
But they were $17 million. They were $17 million over the cap, because we all knew those two players probably weren't hurt,
right? Or at least we all knew they would be healthy.
They could come back.
Right. We all knew they were going to be healthy.
Could be out 2 weeks and ready to come back, but he won't because the Panthers need his money. So
right. So now the Panthers were able to take advantage of that, and whether it's Giroux or what's it called, Hag. Walk us through some of the players that they have acquired, and now with Ekblad out, dude. I mean, you added 3 defensemen now.
Yeah,
that kind of helps. I mean, last year they survived without Ekblad. This year now, with the additions, you're going to be able to maybe thrive even without Ekblad.
Well, the difference is this year the Panthers' defense was already much better than it was last year when Aaron Ekblad got hurt in Dallas. Florida went out and got Brandon Montour, who's here. Excuse me. Gus Forsling has been in this system now for over a year. So Florida is a lot better insulated when Aaron Ekblad got hurt. Plus, they're entrenched in the playoffs, so no worries there. He's only going to miss the final 20 games. Or, and if he's healthy, he starts game one of the playoffs. We don't know that he will be, but that, if he is, he can start game one of the playoffs. The Panthers already had traded for Ben Sherratt of the Montreal Canadiens. He's going to slot in either up top with Mackenzie Weegar on the top pairing, or he'll be down on the second line, either with Montour or Radko Gudas. So Florida's okay there. The big move Florida made, obviously, was for Claude Giroux, Philadelphia Flyers captain. That had been rumored for the past week or so that it looked more and more like Florida was going to get him. Again, as I was saying, that was a luxury item for the Florida Panthers. The week leading into the trade deadline, Florida needed the defensive help. They were able to get that. I was a little surprised Florida gave up the first-round pick for Giroux, knowing that Giroux was only coming to Florida, knowing that Giroux is a luxury. The Florida Panthers, forward-wise, are loaded. And now it's just, an extra cherry on the sundae with this guy. But they have the potential right now. That first line of Sasha Barkov, Claude Giroux, and Carter Verhaeghe, or anyone else.
Right.
As long as you got Barkov and Giroux, you could probably throw me out there on that left side and we'd be all right. That the Panthers would be okay, right? I mean, that is going to be extremely good. Today they were working on a 5-forward power play. You got Reinhart, Barkov, Giroux, Huberdeau, and Duclair on your power play.
Oh God. And man, and I can't. And that freaking Duclair pickup has been just a freaking monster steal, dude. God, and
Duclair. Listen, Duclair is a very streaky player. We've known that. That's one reason why.
Yeah, but he's clutch also. He's streaky and clutch. The sumbitch scores when you need him. Okay,
that's what I'm saying. He lately. It hasn't been streaky. He's been consistent in Florida. Now, that's one reason why Ottawa let him go, because he had 23 goals with Ottawa. 20 of them came before the All-Star break. Then he ended his year with only 3. That's how his career's kind of gone. Since he's been with the Panthers, much more consistent, especially this year. Anthony Duclair, you notice him every time he's on the ice. It's been a great move, and now he's been rewarded with the top power play.
Damn, dude.
And he's been cashing
money
in.
Player, bro.
Yeah.
Money player. At least that's the way I look at, and that's what Zito's done. He keeps adding guys that are just, man, they come. I mean, and you trade away a guy in Vetrano who, since he got here, he always was a key guy, a terrific role player, a guy that always was a terrific complimentary guy, getting a key play, key goal. I mean, that was a guy. It shows you how deep they are when they can give away practically a Vetrano.
Right. And the only reason they gave him away because they knew the Sherratt deal was going on, and everybody in the league knew. Yeah. So, he's worth more than that. Yeah, he is worth more than that, but he isn't worth more than that right this second. It's like that scene in Trading Places. This watch is worth $1,500, and in Philadelphia, it's worth $50.
Right.
Right this second, you'll take what you can get.
Right. You got no choice. You got no choice. By the way, is that a Vero Beach hat?
Vero Beach Dodgers.
Okay. All right. I was like, damn, that's minor league. That's classic. I love it. I love a little Vero Beach Dodgers.
My Vero Beach Dodgers, baby.
What are you working on FloridaHockeyNow.com, where people need to subscribe and read your 87 stories a day?
Yeah. Well, thank you, Orlando. Today we've got a big story up on the reaction about, just talking with Claude Giroux and Bill Zito about the Panthers and about that this team is not only all in, but they are a legitimate Stanley Cup contender. I mean, we've never seen a team like this in South Florida on the ice. You can talk about the 96 team and what a great story they were. But we've said, I've told you this, 3 months into the next season, they were already breaking that apart because it was a great story, but it wasn't,
No.
It wasn't a great team. This team, holy smokes, this is a team of all-stars. This is like a super band, when you're taking 3 different rock and roll bands and you're putting them all together. Hopefully they get some hits out of it. So anyway, FloridaHockeyNow.com. Tomorrow we're going to have a big story about Sasha Barkov and, what this means to him and what the Florida Panthers going all in to help him out, because that's one thing Bill Zito said yesterday was we're finally putting someone with Barkov, other than Jonathan Huberdeau, who Barkov doesn't have to try and carry, right? Barkov doesn't have to worry about helping out Giroux. Giroux's going to help him out.
Yeah.
And for the first time, like Barkov's like, I got all these options,
Right.
That's the thing. You could put anybody on the Barkov line and they're going to produce. And I think people around the NHL, general managers are looking at it like, oh, well, X, Y, and Z for Florida, those stats are inflated because they played with Barkov. Now you got Giroux, a 7-time All-Star, one of the top players, one of the top forwards in the league. Yeah, he's 34 years old. It doesn't matter. The guy can still play. He's still one of the top players in the game. And the Florida Panthers got him for Owen Tippett and a couple draft picks.
Yeah.
But they went out and got him. So
you do it. You do it. Now, let me ask you something. One more thing that I thought of that I wanted to ask you before I let you go here. Is there any thought that Zito's also thinking this? Because I'm going back to the 90s and I'm going, okay, you talked about that team. That team couldn't score with a fistful of dollars in a whorehouse. So Beezer had to be super special every single night, right?
The rules were different then too.
Okay.
Most teams were
on this team, nobody's playing like Beezer. Bob's not even playing like the Columbus that we saw against the Tampa Bay Lightning 4 years ago, whatever it was. Yeah. And he shut them out. He's not even playing at that level. So is Zito saying, I need to improve my defense because I've got the best offense in the league, but I've got to help my goaltending out to make sure, because there is a greasy goal that's let in every so often.
And Bob gave up those in Columbus, though, too. Let's not forget, Columbus and Florida play a completely different style. And we said that, we talked about that when they signed Bob. I was like, listen, as good as Bob is in net, if the Panthers don't play in front of him, you can't have a shooting gallery. And Florida takes a lot of risks. Florida takes a lot of offensive risks, and a lot of times it pays off. But when it doesn't, you see what happens. It comes back at you fast. I don't care what goalie you are. But I understand. Yeah, listen, Zito's old school in a lot of ways, in some ways. And one of those ways is you could never have too many defensemen. And he got 2 here at the trade deadline. Florida's got the 2 kids in Prisky and Kiersted down in Charlotte who can come up in a pinch. The Panthers right now have 8 defensemen on the roster with Aaron Ekblad as number 9 on the injured reserve. Then you get the 2 kids down below. The Panthers again it's like they've got a taxi squad again because they've got cap space. So they've got more defensive depth than they've had since last year when they had a taxi squad. So they're great. I mean, because you never know. You lose 1 or 2 defensemen, where are you? Well, now they've got guys that can slide right in. You got the Hag guy, kid from Buffalo, who played with Gudis and we're going to do a story on him for Wednesday about how, the first person they called was Gudis. And he says, all Gudis did was start laughing. He goes, you're going to love it here. This is the team. This team is a lot of fun. Bill Zito said that yesterday. He was like, it's not just that we're winning. It's not just that we're winning 6-1. He goes, people that watch the Panthers realize how much they care for each other, how much fun they're having. This is an exciting team, and it's a team people can get behind. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, man. I just want the entire South Florida community to get the buzz and get it going like we had it in the 90s, because they deserve that kind of support.
Yeah, you remember 96. I mean, it was
a zoo.
Yeah. It was a zoo. And the Panthers.
I've talked about it. You walk out of the Pompano rink and there's 200-300 people waiting for autographs. I never saw that.
Right.
It's crazy, dude. You couldn't buy a ticket for the Miami Arena, man. It was It was a blast. That's still, to this day, it's still the most enjoyable time I've ever had as a beat reporter, was covering that team. Because
you can tell
hockey people
someone
are the
that didn't
best.
grow up here or someone that's new to South Florida when you talk about the '96 Panthers, and they'll be like, "What's the big deal? They didn't win."
Right.
You know that, okay, you're not from here. You haven't been here. You're not, or you're just not old
Yeah,
enough
you
to
didn't live it.
remember. The
You didn't live
people
it.
that were here remember how important that was, because it was like nothing we'd ever seen. An expansion team 3 years in playing for the cup, you know.
Crazy,
And then
crazy.
and they're playing a Colorado team that the year before was
Loaded.
in Quebec City. So it was like,
And they were loaded.
you had two
loaded.
basically new fan bases playing for the Stanley Cup. But
That's right. That's right.
Follow
Follow him on Twitter at George Richards. And again, subscribe to FloridaHockeyNow.com. All right. And call our great sponsors, ALennyLocksmith.com. If you are locked out of your home, car, you need a spare key, you lost your keys, ALennyLocksmith.com, baby. It's the lockdown segment every week with George Richards and David Dwork. George, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. Enjoy the hooky on Thursday, my friend.
All right. Thank you, Orlando.
You got it. There you go. George Richards, the lockdown segment.